So joining me now, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Senator, good to have you with us.
Thank you.
You know, I guess just off the top, your reaction to that. Rebecca is saying that she thinks that to a great extent, these sanctions are not really hurting him and that they work to his benefit because they're driving oil prices higher. There's also supply chain issues that are kicking in and driving inflation higher in the United States.
I respectfully disagree. She's a smart lady, but for 20 years, Putin has murdered his own people, imprisoned dissidents, opposition leaders in his country, committed war crimes in Syria and Chechnya, and nothing happened. The game has changed. The off-ramp for Putin would be built by the Russian people, not by the West. And how do you get that off-ramp built? We're going to crush the ruble. Joe Manchin has a bill, supported by Nancy Pelosi, believe it or not, that would ban all Russian imports into the United States in terms of oil and gas. 4% of our oil supply comes from Russia. We can easily make that up. So what we haven't done yet is go after the oil and gas sector in Russia. That's the Achilles heel to Putin's war machine. So I disagree. I think we can crush the ruble. I think we can start putting his military commanders under indictment for war crimes. And this is our chance to take this guy out. But taking him out will come from the Russian people.
You know, I mean, when you look at the information warfare that he's really feverishly implementing to try to keep people on the right page, right? Are there ways that we can counteract that we can make sure that we're getting the real messages into Russia, turn on their Facebook, turn on their Twitter? Can we get that done?
Oh, yeah, we're clever. Do we have the will? So the Biden administration's been slow and indecisive. The one thing we haven't done is go after the oil and gas sector of the Russian economy. You now have the Speaker of the House, one of the most liberal people in the country, supporting banning Russian imports. So what could we do on the information front? Yeah, we can get information to the Russian people, but the best thing we can do to the Russian people is explain to them what their future looks like under Putin. We can crush the ruble, not hurt the ruble. We can crush their crush their money, and we can start naming names when it comes to his commanders carrying out these war crimes, take their ass to the International Criminal Court and start prosecuting them. In other words, if they ever set foot out of Russia, they could be hauled into The Hague. We need to be really all in on making the war hard for people around Putin. He may never give up, but people around him might.
Well, let me play this soundbite from the president in his cabinet meeting just a short time ago, talking about new sanctions on the oligarchs.
Today, I'm announcing that we're adding dozens of names to the list, including one of Russia's wealthiest billionaires, and I'm banning travel to America by more than 50 Russian oligarchs, their families, and their close associates. And we're going to continue to support Ukrainian people with direct assistance.
You know, I'm just wondering about that. You know, is that the way to go, or are some of them able to be peeled off and perhaps help exactly what you're talking about, which is to, you know, make life very difficult for Putin and push him out?
Maybe. So I like what the president said, but the one thing we're not doing that would hurt Putin the most is begin to sanction the oil and gas sector of the Russian economy. If we stop.
But Senator Graham, I just want to jump in because what I'm hearing from the the corporate side of the oil is that they're not buying it, that they're not buying Russian oil, that the corporate side of the oil industry has already taken that into their own hands. They haven't purchased anything all week.
We depend on 607,000 barrels of oil coming in from Russia.
But not in the past week.
Well, maybe not in the past week, but we don't have a policy. We need a strategy. I don't want to do it week by week. I want it to be a national policy that we're not going to accept any Russian oil and gas, and that will hurt. But what will cripple Russia is that people will follow our lead. If I were president of the United States, I'd be making a speech tonight rallying the world to the idea, stop buying Russian oil and gas because it's full of blood.
Lindsey Graham, thank you very much. Always good to have you with us, sir. Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.